Hey y'all, my name is Cami and I'm the Director of Advocacy and Training at the Expectations Project. In light of recent events in Uvalde, Texas, we at TEP have been in conversations with our advocates and partners, community members, and friends, and it's clear to us that we are all grieving, and rightly so. We are grieving the loss of precious lives, the loss of a sense of safety and security in our communities, whether it's at school, at the grocery store, or in the city streets. We are grieving as we are forced time and time again to come to terms with this world as we know it and grapple with what it will take to change it for the better. So with this in mind and on our hearts, we are taking time this month and invite you to join us to engage in a practice of lament. Lament is a spiritual practice that gives spaciousness to grief and helps us come to know the depths of the devastations we've experienced so we can begin to turn together toward a more abundant and thriving life for all creation. Lament, simply put, is the practice of expressing grief. And as a spiritual practice, we believe it's prophetic and has the power to harness the energy of love at the point of loss and launch it in the direction of life, even at the sight of death. For many, many generations, people of varying faiths have employed this sacred practice in moments of profound and unimaginable grief. And there, through it, they found resources that they needed to keep on keeping on, to not only survive in the wake of despair, but to courageously insist upon a better tomorrow for future generations. Lament at its essence is the practice of expressing grief. So the most important part of any lament practice is to take space to grieve. Now, grief is our uniquely individual, yet profoundly collective heartbreak in response to communal wounds. So let's take a moment today, and as many moments for as many days as we need, to honor our hurt and take space to grieve. Now, space isn't something we should have to take, but given the general pace of life, we often do. With our busy schedules and life's many demands, we have to remind ourselves that we have the right to make room for our feelings, to process our emotions, and to tend to our bodies so we can find the comfort and nurture we need as we begin the journey of healing. And as we courageously continue living in the wake of the unthinkable and the unimaginable. There is work to be done. We know we're right along with you doing it every day. And as we set our hands to building safer schools and a better world, may we also honor our full humanity and make space for our grief so that we can all be better together. Another important part of lament is asking tough questions. Here at TEP, we do what we call faith-based advocacy, which means we root our advocacy work in the convictions of our varied faith traditions. Now, being a person of faith does not mean having all the answers. Instead, what it actually means is having the courage to ask honest, human questions in the face of life's many difficulties. So, as we take time to engage in the practice of lament and take the space that we so desperately need to grieve, we are bound to run into some tough questions. Questions about life and moving forward in the wake of tragedy. Questions about our society and what it will take to see a better future. And so in lament practice, we explore those questions. We make space for them. We take them seriously. And we find as we do, we are not alone. We have the presence of God or the divine who is with us and who is for us. We have the wisdom of the ancestors or those who've gone before us that supports us. And we have each other. There are advocates all around this country who are grieving too, and who are also doing the hard work of securing safe schools and building a better world for all God's children. So, what are your questions? What are the things that are coming up for you as you partake in the practice of lament and make space to grieve? We would love if you would share them with us because you never know who also needs to hear your questions and be reminded that they are not alone today. We're sending you lots of love and peace and power as you continue to do the work in your part of the world.